Hi, do you mind if I show these?
Yes, please. Hi, welcome.
Are they supposed to be shaped like a vagina? They're supposed to be like...
Yeah, pussy-shaped trays.
Cool.
And incense holders.
For like candle? Oh, for like incense.
Incense and stuff, yep.
Thank you.
Yep, they
Interesting.
fold right here. They're at the top.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we're gonna walk around this market. Welcome to Union Square. This is a Friday afternoon, and we've got like a market going on here. Let's see what they got. I don't like morning people or mornings or people. Got some Nick stuff. A lot of Nick stuff. Hey, look at this. They got a whole Zohran Mamdani. Hot girls for Zohran. Alright. Drop this one. Hot boys for Zohran. They got boys and girls. As long as you're hot, you can wear that. People playing some chess. How you doing? Just show it. Cool. Thank you. Just having a little weed. There you go. Anybody can play. So those guys are always there. These guys are always sitting out here playing people in chess. Apparently they're really good. And you can bet money, but you can pretty much bet you're not going to win. Unless you're like a chess master. We got some crystals. The energy table. Like agate. How about that? Amethyst. Let's check it out. These look like they're handmade. So nice with some gold. You got your touristic hats. I'm not sure. They're like little birds.
Well, I mean, like you said, we've been doing this 29 years, so...
Underground books.
You know, people find us. Take a look at this. This is modern American. They actually cut this in half and make it into two.
You cut it in half? Wow.
Well, no, I'm saying it's designed to be cut in half.
Ah, I
If you
see.
cut it in half at the table, I'll charge you for $2.
You're supposed to cut it in half and then it becomes like $2.
It's designed to be cut.
It's designed to be cut in half, exactly.
Like maybe if you're
So
at
that's
a
actually what you're
party,
supposed
right,
to
you
do.
have a bag and you're making an Irish, you actually cut it in half, put it in your back pockets, and
That's so cool. And this is the Cosmonaut Manifesto.
Singapore.
Not the Communist Manifesto, the Cosmonaut. So cool. Thank you. Oh, how about that? That's cool. So they literally designed that book so that you're supposed to cut it right in half and then you get 2 books and it's like pocket size. It's like nice art. Is your leg single? My uncle had a dog who asked me that exact question. Well, he didn't ask. He should have. Classic Abbey Road. You got all your vinyls here. So cool.
Because I was like the last time something like that kind of happened.
And then you can just grab your little tomatoes. Jitomate, they call them in Mexico. Actually, the actual tomato in Mexico, tomate, is the little one. And jitomate is like the actual big one that we call tomato. Ginger food.
All right, thank you.
Little ginger. These are made in new pots. Oh, sorry. Yeah, handmade in new pots. That's pretty cool. New Pots is just upstate in New York, north of Pennsylvania. Here you can get locally grown spirits. You have absinthe. This is $49. Gin. You got honey, whiskey. Look at that. The big bottle, 70. Cool. How about that? So this park here, Union Square, it's a historic park in close to Lower Manhattan, just below Midtown. I the very bottom of Midtown. Got your sourdough, a rusted baguette. You get a baguette for $6. If you go to France, a baguette, you know, your average baguette will usually be somewhere between 1 and 3 euros. So some of the prices are pretty high here. Here's your subway station. Yeah, like I said, this is a historic park right at the very bottom of Midtown. Midtown starts at 14th Street up to 59th Street. And right here we're at 15, 16, 17 at this park. There's an actual park. If you cut through here, maybe we can check that out. It's collecting the trash. You see all the people just sit right down here in 2 rows, and it's the same throughout the entire park. Yeah, this park for me on a personal level, I've been living in New York my whole life, and this is the only place I've ever actually been openly asked if I want crack. As you see, Abraham Lincoln. Yeah, this is the only place in New York I've ever actually been asked, like, do you want some crack? I said no, of course. You know, I feel crazy enough even if I'm not smoking crack. So, you know, I save money by just being crazy in general. I don't really need to buy a stimulant. You can see some like of the more historic buildings here. This is actually the very beginning of Park Avenue. Park Avenue, if you've ever played the Monopoly game, Park Avenue is the most expensive piece on the board. It's usually the last piece before the go marker. Like when you go around the whole map, it's the last one. You see they're selling plants? How about this? All plants are 20% off. Of course, if they raise the price to being 2 times more than it should be, and then they give you 20% off of that price, I mean, you do the logic. They actually have nectarines. Try. How about that? Wow. Let's try a piece. I love nectarines. Oh my god. It's actually really good. Oh. I wasn't planning on buying nectarines. They're actually making me want to buy nectarine. I guess that's why they give it to you. Here's a Barnes & Noble, like a bookstore. Look at this big old guy. Whoa. This thing. Oh my gosh. Like a massive gourd or something. That's so cool. Wow, and you have like here you can get your fresh sunflower seeds. You just take them off. Let's keep walking. Oh. This guy's got like a nice camera here. Hey, fresh corn. A lot of this stuff comes right from the farms. This says it's a truck from Kinderhook, New York. It's probably like farmland somewhere, maybe upstate. They bring this stuff fresh from the farms, bring it to the city and sell it at a, you know, a premium. All right, why not? I showed you guys the market. So let's just continue up Broadway. This is Broadway. And I've mentioned in previous videos that Broadway used to be the Nape Trail. The Nape was the Native American tribe that lived on Manhattan. They actually gave Manhattan the name Manhattan, which means the island of many hills, in the Algonquin language which they spoke. And they actually made this trail when the Europeans arrived here, this trail was already here. It would have been, of course, just like a visible walking place, right? Not an actual paved road, of course. See how beautiful the architecture is? You know, the interesting styles. People have such cool styles here.
They are not they are inside.
Then you can see these gorgeous buildings. I mean, these are probably all late 19th, maybe early 20th century buildings. Some of them are even cast iron, like in the Soho neighborhood. You can see these really old fire escapes, like these are super old. Of course, they're well maintained. The city does a good job of making sure that those fire escapes are up to code. A building can't violate code for a fire escape. They're all very secure. You can still use all of these fire escapes throughout the whole city. And if you're living in a building that has a fire escape, it also serves as a cool balcony. Have your coffee. Look at this fancy shop. Let's check out one of the shops. This looks like it could have been a warehouse. It could have been a factory, maybe a textile factory. A lot of textile and dry goods factories were up here back in the day. And they've converted them into all different sorts of things. This is something that, these lights are really beautiful actually. This is something that we probably should have done through much of the rest of the country. Like if you take a train from Boston to Washington, D.C., you pass through places like Baltimore, North Philly, full of these abandoned factories, abandoned warehouses, all just waiting to be claimed and converted into really cool stuff. Just like this. Crate and Barrel, so yeah, you probably know Crate and Barrel. I was more interested in the building itself. Here's it from the outside. Look at the huge windows here. All right, so as we continue up Fifth Avenue, if you're familiar with the layout of New York City, you know what's coming. It's a building that's had construction like covering. It's had like something in front of it covering it for a while now. They've been like renovating the surface of this building, which I'm going to show you. But I believe recently I saw some people posted that they took that thing away. So we should be able to see the full surface of the Flatiron building. The Flatiron being at the intersection of 23rd and 5th. Where Broadway cuts into these corners. And in order to adapt the building to the cuts that Broadway makes, they had to make it, you know, more and more narrow in the front. But the Flatiron building that we're about to see, I'm going to tell you a little bit about before we look at it. I can already see the tarp is the word I was looking for, tarp. It's gone. From what I just saw. This was the first skyscraper in New York City. So this building, the Flatiron, has the honor of being the first of many skyscrapers. And I believe it was built in 1901. I could be totally wrong about that. You should definitely check. In fact, I'll put the actual date as a subtitle on the video. But I believe it was 1901. So let's go see. Here it is. This one here. This is the not flat side. This is the back side of the Flatiron here. This is the back side. And on the front is where you'll see that it's flat. You see these people all waiting in line here for this Mediterranean restaurant. You can hear the subway underneath. One of the cool things about walking around the city is you can always hear the subway underneath. And a lot of you probably know this building. This is the Harry Potter store. So let's go see it. Right here, underneath the Flatiron. This here is the Flatiron. The Harry Potter store is right behind it. Let's go check it out. Hopefully they let me film. Wow. You got your, I think this is that Hagrid's cabin? I'm not sure. Oh, sorry. What is this drink that you have?
Butter beer.
Butter beer. Yeah, how about that? Wow, that's cool. Butter beer. Awesome. Yeah, they're $13.50 each. You can get a butter beer. Is that part of the show? Sorry. Is that part of the show? Butter beer? You could be Gryffindor. Check this out. This is like Dumbledore's office. The entrance to Dumbledore's office. I think it's like, say something like lemon something. And then you get into his office. I'll try this is Luna Lovegood. How about that? Yeah, this would be more like you can be Lord Voldemort. You can actually choose to get Lord Voldemort. I feel like if you have a child, if you bring a child here, and he's like, Mommy, I want a wand. You're like, which one? He's like, get me the one for Lord Voldemort. I would be pretty concerned for my child. And there it is. You see a lot of people complaining about this recently. Here you have the view of the Empire State Building here, and then it's just being blocked by this, like, I mean, I hate to say it, but kind of ugly modern building, which I'm not sure if they've completed it yet, but you can see how they're blocking the view here on the right. A lot of people are complaining about that. And check this out. This is 5th Avenue. Fifth Avenue at the end of the 19th century became sort of the new elegant street that led directly to Central Park, which was built in the 1860s. So the east corner of, well, the east side of Central Park is 5th Avenue. And all along 5th Avenue, they put these modern department stores and industrialists like Vanderbilt, Carnegie. They built there at Rockefeller. They built their mansions all along 5th Avenue. The area of the halfway midpoint on the east side of Central Park is known as Carnegie Hill because Andrew Carnegie built his huge mansion up on a hill there. You can see the kind of people we have here. 23rd Street. Now this is Madison Square Park, and it was the original location of Madison Square Garden, which is where the New York Knicks play. They later moved it to 34th Street, which is where they just actually built a new building, a new Madison Square Garden right there on the same place. This is also where the business Shake Shack was founded. It was just a cart, a guy selling burgers out of a cart in Madison Square Park here. And he turned it into an internationally successful burger joint business. And the park is also full of these little statues. This is William Seward. He was apparently a governor, a US Senator, and Secretary of State. Though I don't know exactly which president he was Secretary of State under. So, this is the original location of the original Shake Shack. You can see an IBM headquarters over here. The actual IBM headquarters is up on Madison Avenue and 57th Street. But this is a auxiliary building or ancillary building. So you can see, imagine the guy had a street cart where he sold burgers, and now they've turned it into this little thing here. But of course, you can go to Korea and I think maybe even Japan. You can go to Europe and you can find Shake Shacks. There's the Flatiron, the first skyscraper in New York City. It's also where, if you see the Spider-Man movies, at least the Tobey Maguire ones, that's where Spider-Man is a journalist. He goes into the roof. You know, he swings up to the roof and he breaks into the rooftop, and that's where his boss's office is, where he gives him the photos that he took of himself as Spider-Man and sells them. All right, let's just walk around. I love these little dog parks. I'm not sure if they're technically called like canine parks. Yeah, that's fun. You get a little dopamine hit when you watch dogs like playing. Gives you some dopamine. Relieves you of stress. It's one of the best things about having a pet is you get this kind of positive feeling towards other beings around you. You get a little dopamine, get some good feelings. You know, you can have a real feeling of companionship with a dog. And even with cats who, you know, cats have so many different kinds of personalities. Some of them are very loving, but some of them much colder. You can also feel very strong feelings of companionship with a cat. Check this out. See, we're just walking down the street. Now these are the buses, these big buses, they cost like $7.50 and they'll take you up to the Bronx. So they're a bit more expensive, but they're like express buses, they're coach buses. They're actually just like the same system as a regular bus, as a local bus, or the subway. But they go farther distance. And they go up into the Bronx where it's a bit more difficult, where there's not as easy like subway access. And you can see some like street art up here. It's a woman in like, I guess that's late Victorian, so 1890s, early 1900s style. She's wearing like a nice fancy hat. So there you go. There's the video, a short one today. I walked through the market in Union Square. We walked up a little bit of Broadway, a little bit of Fifth Avenue. I showed you like the Harry Potter store, took you into some old warehouse, converted it to like a shop. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed. Until the next video, bye-bye.